Greetings and happy Friday. Happy Friday to one and to all. Thank you all, Heart, Grit, and Grind. That is courtesy of Dr. Bombay. Again, happy Friday to one and to all. And happy Saturday, depending upon where you are on the globe. Now, as I always like to open, please give yourselves a big round of applause for making it to and through another day, because as we know, we all will not be able to say that. That being said, I want to cover something really quickly, and then we'll go on with this recap of this week, and it's been a doozy. So first, I want to give a big shout out and prayers to the family of Gilbert Arenas, whose son Elijah was in a very bad car accident. Now, according to reports, it appears he's doing better than what he was when he was first taken to the hospital. Again, many prayers for a speedy recovery for this young man, Elijah Arenas, again, son of Gilbert Arenas. I've mentioned many times, for those that have listened and have been here for the long haul, you can be on top of the world in 1 minute, and in the very next, it can appear that the world is on top of you. It does not matter your zip code, your socioeconomic status. Life happens. So with that being said, always be grateful for everything that you have and for every moment that you have. Make sure that your loved ones know and receive the flowers that they are deserved upon, because you just never know. Segue on to health really quickly. I did a stream and a post not too long ago urging people to please get your screenings. You know your body, and if some of you are like me, and please don't procrastinate, sometimes we will brush things off and attribute it to getting older or an allergy or just something. Sometimes things may not be anything, but it's best, especially when you start to mature and get older, to get your screenings. I knew that I was feeling extremely, extremely tired, and it's a different type of fatigue than my regular lupus fatigue. So I asked my doctor to do a screening for my vitamin D because for some reason, each year my vitamin D level drops. And if anyone has experienced low vitamin D deficiency, you will feel completely depleted of energy. Well, I was absolutely right in that. Hey there, old heart. Okay, I spoke to you earlier. Sorry about that. Hey there, oracles. How are you? Yes, all heart grit and grind. You can Google it, and you'll see all the information on it. Yes, it was. I'm not even going to show any photos again out of respect, but it appears that this young man um, is doing better than what he was when he was first taken in. So that is all I'm going to say on that. And I will also say that what man can't do, in my opinion, there's always someone greater than us that can do. So just keep that in mind when you see things and hear things that may look impossible. That is, if you believe. So back to the vitamin D. I knew I was tired, so when I went to get my bag full of prescriptions, one of them was for vitamin D. And when the nurse called, somehow or another, we were disconnected. So I wasn't able to get all of my results. But I found out yesterday that I was once again correct, and my vitamin D plummeted to 14. 14. That is severely low. I could not understand why there were times I'd had to pull over just to rest. And I knew it wasn't, well, I figured it wasn't my diabetes doing that because I'm on top of that and my numbers have been fine as far as that was concerned. But people, vitamin D, all of your, you have so many organs inside and your bones and your joints. You can go to the gym, you can work out, you can eat healthy, but if you're not getting the supplements that you need, and again, always consult with your physician, you may face deficiencies, and vitamin D can cause you to feel so many different things, and fatigue is one of them, joint pain is one of them, muscle issues, you name it. As Shirley Caesar said, you name it, you will feel it. And I most certainly did. So I'm back on that little green colored green gel pill. It's 50,000 IU. That's a lot. So I have to take that for 8 days. Well, one for 8 weeks, and then we'll see how my levels are. But again, 14 is extremely low. That's almost single digits, so I have to be very, very careful. So please make sure that you always get your screenings and don't ignore what your body is telling you. So this week has been a doozy as it relates to the news. As we know, and most people should by now, Pope Francis, 88, passed away on Monday. They're saying, and again, I'm only going by news reports, that he passed away from a cerebral stroke and irreversible heart disease. He was recovering from double pneumonia. Now, I can tell you, double pneumonia is no joke. That is what landed me in the hospital last year where I almost didn't come out, and doctors told me I would need oxygen therapy for the rest of my life. Well, I was in there almost, well, it was 3 weeks, 3 weeks and a day, I believe. And when I was discharged, yes, I was discharged with an oxygen tank and all of these other things, but I went to work the next day without having to use it, and I haven't since. So I'm giving thanks and praise for that. That type of respiratory issue does not easily heal. Yes, you can feel better, but your body really, really needs time to heal from that. And when you're older and you have other underlying health conditions, it's not as easy. You may look like you're okay on the outside, but it's what's on the inside that people cannot see. So for him to be that age and fought through that, I have to give him his flowers for that. Again, there are a lot of people still mourning his unexpected passing. Yes, he was ill, but that was a shock to many because it occurred right after Easter. Some people are saying that it was actually before then, but I'm going by the reports that I heard. And he will be laid to eternal rest on Saturday. So again, may his soul rest. And yes, all heart, grit, and grind. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, let me get these comments if I'm able to really quickly. And you are right about that. Yes, again, you can read about Elijah. It's all over the news. But as I said, out of respect, I'm not going into a lot of detail because just out of respect, I'm not. So that's how that will go. Next story. And I don't mean to laugh. I know I'll leave that one for last. This right here, and I'm covering this because it is in my neck of the woods. Now, many of you have also heard about the Kilmar Garcia incident, and that is the story that speaks to a Maryland resident who was, many people say, wrongly deported to El Salvador, and they've accused him of being a member of MS-13. Now, he was given, I'm going to just say, a pass back in 2019 to not be deported back to El Salvador. However, on March the 13th, after a traffic stop, their lives were turned upside down, and he, along with others, were deported to El Salvador, and there has been protests and a lot going on with that story. Number one, there's a judge, Paula Zenas, who demanded that the Trump administration facilitate the return of Kilmar Garcia, but Trump and his administration fought back, saying that she has no jurisdiction over that. So there was a deadline set for the facilitation of Kilmar Garcia's return, and it's been a seesaw of events. And the woman you see photoed is his wife. And just before, Senator Chris Van Hollen took a trip, and a lot of people from Maryland, DC, Virginia, but mostly Maryland, are very upset with him. It was discovered that she had placed in 2021 a protective order, basically a DV, out on her husband, Kilmar Garcia. But she said, and it's also in the court documents that they were able to work that out. Because of all of this, there were a group of Democrats that also followed suit with Senator Chris Van Hollen, and they too took a trip to El Salvador with the hopes and the efforts of either bringing him back or making something happen for him to return. This is the problem that I have with this. Well, let me add one more piece, the latest to this story that is not going away anytime soon. According to reports, she's been moved to a safe house because allegedly her address was leaked by DHS. Now, I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to either agree or disagree with that. A lot of these things that are filed are actually public record. Now, if it's a protective order, most of the time, the person who goes into the commissioner to file that order, they shield their address. So unless there was something else that she was involved in, I'm not really sure how that happened. But anyway, she's been moved to a safe house, and there are many people upset about taxpayer dollars being spent for these flights. And with the level of poverty and hunger already here in Maryland, why this particular story, because this man, even though he's a resident of Maryland, he is a citizen of El Salvador, why it's getting so much airplay, and a lot of people are feeling slighted behind that. So let me see who's coming really quickly so I can speak to everyone. Hey there, Zena. How are you? Happy Friday, perhaps Saturday to some of you. Hey there, Moki. How are you? Good to see you. So a lot of people are very upset about that. I've had people in my comment section saying that yes, indeed, he is a part of MS-13. Again, I don't know whether that is true or not, but as myself and Dr. Newsom spoke last week on the Late Night Word with Dr. Newsom, charity begins at home, and there are so many people suffering here in Maryland. And not only that, there's a woman whose daughter, her name is Patty Morin, whose daughter was unalived by an illegal immigrant, and she was a guest at the White House earlier this week. She is extremely upset behind these moves that are being made by senators and other members of the Democratic Party, making these travel trips and arrangements, and all the efforts that are made to have this man returned. Again, I understand that DHS or ICE admitted that it was a mistake. However, there's a lot of money and resources being utilized on this particular case. And as I mentioned, being here in Maryland, being out every day, as I said, the weather is starting to break, and there are families already out on the streets looking for shelter, and there are no resources for them. But there have been resources for these trips, which are not cheap. Time afforded for the efforts of the facilitation of the return of, again, Kilmar Garcia, who was arrested and deported on or before March 13th, 2025. Again, the government admitted that was in error, but the President of the United States and the President of El Salvador feels as though, and they've already expressed this, that it is not their responsibility to basically do much in the form of having this man return back to the United States. Senator from Maryland, Chris Van Hollen, did go out there. At first, initially, he was denied access, but later he was able to meet with him. And then there were people that were up in arms claiming, and again, these are all allegations, that they were sipping margaritas. So again, you have to be careful with media. Media will play many games. Not saying, suggesting that they did in this particular situation, but you just have to be careful with that. So that's one of the big stories going on here in Maryland. There have been protests. Keep in mind, the Salvadorian Hispanic population is extremely large in both Prince George's County and Montgomery County. So this is an ongoing story. It's a very sensitive story, and I hope it is handled with care for the sake of all Marylanders, native DC, and Virginia, for obvious reasons. Next up, and his face has been everywhere. And I mean that figuratively, before anyone even starts on me. Shannon Sharpe, Club Shay Shay, who has been under fire for allegations of let me back up a little bit. SA with a then, and I'm not sure how old she is now, but I guess at the beginning of the relationship, he may have been 56, she 19 relationship, and there has been salacious text messages and recordings and videos. Now, I have not seen any videos, and as I've mentioned, I do not want to see. I am not interested in seeing any videos with him in action, so to speak. For all you warriors out there, if that's what you're into, again, I'm not here to judge. You do what you want to do. We'll look at what you want to look at, but I'm not interested in it. But I'm just here giving my commentary, and it's a really, really sad situation. Hold on for one moment. What did All Heart say? Shan is not so sharp after a while. Well, I'm just going to say this, and this is for anyone across the board. Anytime, and this is just, again, my opinion here, anytime you have to, or you feel compelled to give a long, drawn out explanation of actions, there might be a reason to question if there is any truth to what has been alleged. And I believe that there was an attempt to get in front of all of this before the poo-poo hit the fan with the placing of $10 million on the table, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. So it went up to 50 million. And another bone, if you will, came out the closet where years ago, but there was another person who claimed allegations, but that was handled at that time privately. Now, the irony of this is Cat Williams spoke about the year of exposure. He sat directly across from this man and spoke about the year of exposure. And I don't know what it is with celebrities and athletes and those who are in the public eye who think, hey there, twin, how are you? Sing a song for me. Why they think that they're beyond reproach where they can throw a few dollars, and I don't mean that literally. I mean, they have enough where they can get many people to hush. But apparently this young lady didn't hush for long. And the question a lot of people are asking, well, are Black men being set up? That's a possibility. But I would imagine that at that age, at that level of your career, you couldn't find anyone that was your cup of tea in your age group. You did not have enough lower region control that you had to pursue what was called a relationship. And again, I'm not here to judge, but I'm just wondering what a man at that age could find in common with someone in her age. Did she bring him home for dinner? Did he meet the parents? Or was just strictly physical? And knowing all of the scandals other athletes have gone through, did he not once think that could these things be recorded? There was a story, and I'll have to say allegation, that there was a leak of him engaged in an entanglement that I think was leaked on Instagram. I don't know the validity of that, but if that were the case, again, that is very, very sloppy and extremely irresponsible. And I said this during a quick video yesterday that, again, people are attracted to who they are attracted to, but you got to think about your family. You should think about your family. You should think about your legacy. You should think about everything that you've built and how quickly it could be lost, or how your reputation after all of these years can be tarnished over something physical, over something that really, in my opinion, should not have happened anyway. And now we're looking at damage control. And from my optics, that damage is not being controlled that well, because when Stephen A came out, and a lot of people refer to him as Screaming A, and did this video, to me, that was almost like a foreshadowing of what was to come. Now, I've heard a couple of people say that his black card has been revoked, but we also know that a lot of people of color are forgiving people. Give me one moment. I need to respond to somebody really quickly. Every time I go live. Hey to you. Okay, so hopefully I don't have to respond anymore. Okay. Oh gosh. Let me cut this off. Okay. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So rare Friday night that I'm early, because it's been a long week. But back to Mr. Sharp. We as a community, we are a forgiving people. So I don't know if it's going to take time for this to blow over, or if many people are going to keep their foot down and say, people try to tell you, you've poo-pooed on other people. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this is going to be, hold on, I'm sorry. All right. If this is going to be another situation where more and more people are going to start coming out with allegations, and I know TD Jakes is probably somewhere with his feet cocked up, happy that the heat again is once off of him. Give me 1 second, please. I'm sorry. All right. And all heart, grit, and grind. Absolutely. I agree with that. And forgive, but never forget. And that is what we shall see what will happen in the future if people will be able to forgive. I don't think it'll ever be forgotten. Okay. So, that being said, it's over here. I'm going to look at that one more time. That's right. You don't have to continue dealing with the person. So a lot of people are questioning, which I am too. What I've heard, I don't believe it is everything. It may have just been clips because it appears they've had a interesting type of physical relationship. And again, what people do behind closed doors is what people do behind closed doors. But I will always say, and I've always said, when you are in the public eye like that, eventually, something's going to happen. And it is a very good question. Are some people being targeted? I can't say yes or no to that. Should you be aware and activate that discernment and always question if someone has a motive? Because in these days and times, I am so very sorry to have to break this to you. It appears that many people do have motives. Hey there, Ideal. How are you? Happy weekend. Happy weekend to you. Hopefully you are enjoying it, as well as everyone. We have to make sure that, and again, I'm not perfect, and I want to put that out there, that the decisions we make will not end up hurting us in the future. And not only us, but our families. Can you imagine the amount of embarrassment that he's facing individually, as well as his family members, his colleagues? Okay, so happy Saturday to you, Ideal, and happy Saturday to everyone who is around the globe. I appreciate you all. And I think, as I mentioned, that I don't think a lot of people think about that. And then there are people that have questioned, well, if there was a $10 million deal on there for it to go away, there must be some guilt. Maybe not. I again, at the end of the day, there were only 2 people there and some devices, obviously, recording video. Again, people, be careful. Be careful of your circle. Be careful of with whom you entrust your mind, your body, and your soul with. Because it can land you in some places that are extremely dark and desolate. And you'll find yourself in a position where you have many questions to answer, and people may look at you wrong. And as All Heart said earlier, yeah, people may forgive, but it's the forgetting. Hey there, DJ Is, how are you? And again, at almost 60 years old, for me, I guess that's why I'm not famous, and I don't want to be. That's not a legacy I would want to leave behind. Because the sad part of all of this, and this is just a life lesson for everybody to please remember, sometimes it does not matter how much good you do if you do something, just one thing, one bad thing, a very bad thing, that one thing will cancel out all of the good that you do. That's what you'll be remembered for. Do you remember this scandal? Not the community service or help that you've given others. No, it's the scandal that you'll be remembered by. And I don't think a lot of people really take that into consideration. So that is just a quick recap of this week. Trust me, there have been many stories, but those are the most ones that a lot of people have been talking about. Maybe not so much the Kilmar Garcia incident because it's in Maryland, but that actually should be a topic because that indeed could set a precedent when it comes to any other individuals who are quote unquote deported by accident. There are a lot of things going on, and as I mentioned before, the amount of stories or the amount of events that have occurred this week. And also, I forgot to mention one, but the plane that left Orlando on its way to Atlanta had to be evacuated because of an engine fire. There were about 300 people aboard. No one was injured, thank God, but keep in mind there are just so many things happening, and to me it gives me distraction vibes. So don't get too caught up into one or two stories. Just be vigilant. Of course, live your lives, but be vigilant when there are too many stories of this magnitude that continues to happen in the grand scheme of things. To me, it just gives me vibes to be vigilant. So again, these are just a few of the stories that have taken place this week right after Easter, right after what many people deem as Resurrection Sunday. Somehow or another, all of this is biblical to me, and maybe that's what Dr. Newsom and I will talk about with part 2 of Late Night Word with Dr. Newsom, 9 o'clock on Sunday. So to everyone that came in here, thank you so much for joining me just for this little bit of time. Again, it was a rare Friday night weekend recap, but while I had the energy, I wanted to come on really quickly. I may throw up some videos or maybe some shorts, or maybe just drink my ginger water and call it a night because my butt's tired. As I said, get your screenings. Make sure that your vitamin levels are where they need to be. And again, a lot of us are working extremely hard. And we may think we're dehydrated or depleted because we're working hard. That could be the case. Or your vitamins may be deficient, as my vitamin D, as I mentioned earlier, for those of you who are just coming in, is very low. It's 14. So that's severely low. So as you can see by my picture, I posted earlier on my community wall, tan season is here. Vitamin D from nature is the best, even though I have to take a supplement for it. But I plan on being out there more to help elevate my vitamin D level. So again, thank you to everyone, my members and everyone that came in. Hey there, Hassan, how are you? Good to see you. You have been, hold on for a second, Hassan, in here quite a bit. So Let me, hold on. Where are you, Hassan? There you go. There you go. So you can mix and mingle with everyone. And for those of you that are in here, make sure, if you haven't already, to give this a thumbs up. And for those that may catch the replay, please thumbs up and any comments you may have. I would truly, truly appreciate it. So with that, everyone, please be safe, be well, and be healthier. I'm going to put my intro on a loop so those that wish to connect with one another, you can do that. And until next video, everyone, please be safe, be well, and be healthier.